Hi everyone, and welcome to my attempt at a Pokemon Emerald hardcore Nuzlocke using only first stage Pokemon. This seemed like a really fun challenge, although a difficult one. I always seem to struggle against Wallace, and now that I only have first stage Pokemon, I assume it's going to be even more difficult. It will be a bit different from our typical Monotype runs, but actually building teams around all the different types in the game is a lot of fun as well. And with only first stage Pokemons, this challenge will still be really difficult. I'll quickly go over the rules, although I think you all know them by now. We can only catch the first encounter on every route. We must nickname every Pokemon. If a Pokemon faints, it's considered dead and can no longer be used. We can't overlevel the gym leader's highest level Pokemon. And we cannot use items in battle. You can always take a look at the description down below for a more detailed overview of the rules. Anyway, I won't go over every single possible encounter. Basically anything that isn't evolve is fair game. Yes, that does mean that with my rules, Pokemon that don't evolve like Plusle, Minun or Solrock are fair game as well. I assume that early game is going to be rather easy, but I'm kind of dreading late game, and especially the Elite Four. I'm thinking of Drake and his dragons, Juan and his Kingdra, and Tate and Lysa are always a tough battle. Even Glacia will be a little scary. We start our journey with picking a starter, and of course I picked Trico. He won't evolve though, so he won't turn into a Sceptile, so I just called him Blaze Jr. With that, I made my way to Route 103, where I caught a Poochyena. I named him Murray. Then on Route 102, I caught a Zigzagoon, who I named Sarah. We then make our way to Petalburg City, and we help Wally once again. After that though, it's time for a few more encounters. On Route 104, I caught a Wingull, who I named Sink. In the Petalburg Woods, I caught a Wurmple, who I named Ivan. And after arriving in Rustboro City, I head north to Route 116, where I encounter a Tato, who I named Pedals. And in the Rustboro Cave, I caught a Wishmer, who I named Ritual. And with that, we have a full team and all our possible encounters. I then made sure to train the team up, but I suspect that Roxanne won't be that big of a problem. We have Blaze Jr. and I expect him to just sweep. I of course lead with Blaze Jr. as Roxanne sends out Geodude. One Absorb takes it out and in comes the next Geodude. He too goes down to a single Absorb. In comes Nosepass and Absorb does about a third. He Rock Tombs us and lowers our speed. He now outspeeds, but we can just spam Absorb. He for some reason doesn't really try to attack, so after a few turns and 2 potions, we manage to take it out. That's our first batch. After our first batch, we witness the hit and run for like the 100th time, and we save Pico and get this dude's goods back. After that though, it's time to make our way to Dewford Town. Here we first pick up the Old Rod, and then we go to Granite Cave. I'm hoping for a Geodude here, as he will be perfect for Watson, but we got a Makuhita, our second best option. I catch it and name him Thermo. I then prepare to take on Brawly, and we level up Sink and Pedals. I lead with Pedals against his Machop, and he just goes for bulk up. Next turn, Machop is healed, as we hit another wing attack. One more takes it out, and in comes Meditite. Meditite can't hit us as long as we hit him, but one wing attack proves to be enough. Lastly is Makuhita, who is hit for about 75% damage by wing attack before hitting us hard with Vital Throw. We live though, and next turn we take it out with another wing attack. Another sweep, perfect. To celebrate our successful gym battle, I decided to fish up a Magikarp in Dewford Town. I named him The Man, and he probably won't see the light of day ever again. After that, it's time to go to Slayport City. A little north on Route 110 we can actually catch something. And we encounter a Minun, which is perfect. These non-evolving Pokemon are going to be fantastic, so I'm really happy with him. I catch it and name it Positive. Positive then proceeds to sweep the Team Aqua members without a problem. I like him already. But after that, it's time for the infamous May battle. I actually wiped here once, but I think I got the right strategy this time. I leave with Sarah against her Wingull and land 2 headbutts. This manages to take it out and in comes Combusken. So I swap into Sink as he sets a focus energy. I then hit a crit water gun for half damage and 2 more wing attacks take it out as we're left with about a quarter of HP. Lastly is Lombra, but he just gets one-shotted by wing attack. Not this time, May. We then make our way to Marvel City, battle Wally and head to Route 117. Here we catch an Oddish, who I named Malt. But after that it's time for our biggest challenge yet, Watson. Watson has a Magneton, Manectric as well as an exploding Voltorb. According to my calcs, Voltorb is really likely to explode on something. After some strategizing though, I came up with a plan. I lead with Blaze Jr. against his Voltorb and hit a quick attack. I then hit another as we're hit by Spark. Next quick attack takes it into the yellow, so he's really likely to explode now. With that in mind, I make the decision to send in Ivan, and it turns out I was right. So long Ivan, you did your job. I then send in Thermo against his Electrike and hit a Fake Out. After that I switch into Blaze Jr. and hit an Absorb. This heals him up nicely, so I go for another. This leaves it at about 1 HP, so Electrike is healed. I just keep spamming Absorb though, and eventually I can take it out with a Quick Attack. Those were the two easy ones out of the way. Next up is Magneton, so I switch into Thermo. We're paralyzed, which activates our guts, so I decide to go for a Vital Throw. This barely misses the kill, and I know Magneton will be healed up next turn, so I just go for another. This once again leaves it in the red, but I can't take another hit, so I go into positive. Spark takes it out, and lastly is Manectric. I start by paralyzing it, and he does the same. I then encore it into using Thunder Wave, and we switch into our guts boosted Thermo. From here I can just spam Arm Thrust, which leaves it in the low red as the encore ends. So I switch into positive, and after being paralyzed for one turn I take it out with a Quick Attack. Phew. We took down Watson, but it was really difficult. I'm kind of proud of taking out Watson and only losing 1 mon, which was a deliberate sack. After that though, we can finally use Rock Smash and move up to Mount Chimney. Along the way I pick up a Numel who I named Atomic. In the Fiery Path I encounter a Torkoal, which is an absolutely incredible encounter. I catch it and name it Extra. On Route 113 I encounter a Slugma who I named Svelta. On Route 114 I encounter a Swablu who I named Cloud. Original, right? We then do some plot stuff in Meteor Falls and we have another encounter here. I'm praying for a Soul Rock, but I got a Zubat instead. I named it Bear. I then also encounter a Geodude from Rock Smash who I named Atomic. Yeah, at the time I forgot about Numel, but that will be corrected later. Anyway, it's now time to face Maxi. I'm a little scared here, he has a Mightyena and Camerupt. But I open with Thermo against his Mightyena. I hit a Fake Out and then a Vital Throw. Next one takes it out and in comes Zubat. So I swap into Atomic, but we get confused. We actually got hit all the way down to 8 HP, so I need to switch. I bring in Petals and 2 wing attacks take it out. In comes Camerupt, so I bring a Ritual. I hit a Supersonic and swap to Sync. Camerupt hit himself 2 times, so we only need 1 Water Gun for the victory. On the Jagged Path I encounter a Machop who I named Muscle, and I also pick up the Wynot Egg and Lava Ridge Town. I hatch it there and I name it Counter. It's also at this point where I notice my double naming mistake, and since I like Atomic better for Geodude, I named Numel Imposter. But after that it's time to take on Flannery. I lead with Atomic against Numel and use a Rock Throw. Numel just sets up the sun and uses Takedown, so next one takes it out and in comes Slugma, who goes down to a Magnitude 7. The incoming Camerupt is a little scary. I know he's going to use Overheat in the sun, so I go into Extra. He misses though and I scout a little with Protect. He then attracts as I want to set up a curse. I bring in Sync to shake off the attract and hit a Supersonic. He misses another Overheat and now he's confused, so I bring Extra back in. I set up a curse, but we're once again attracted. I just want to get rid of it, so I spam Body Slam, only to miss most. We finally hit, leaving it in the red and paralyzed. I go for another and 1 more takes it out. We're on half health and I protect the first turn against her Torkoal. We then exchange Body Slams and he then hits an Overheat, leaving me at literally 1 HP. So I swap into Ritual, but Torkoal is healed. I confuse it and the following 4 turns I flinch 3 times with Stomp as he hits himself once in confusion, taking himself out. Whatever Torkoal did wrong in his life, he did not deserve this. But now that Flannery is down, I can access the desert. Here I catch a Baltoy named Toll, and in the Mirage Tower I catch a Trapinch who I named Mud. Yeah, the nicknames are getting more and more creative. I also make sure to pick up the Claw Fossil, as Anorith really surprised me in my Pokemon Emerald Hardcore Nuzlocke using only bug types, so he's a welcome addition. And to keep with tradition, he gets the unique and incredibly clever nickname Claw. But now it's time for Norman, and as you may have noticed, my team is switching all the time, so you may see some new faces every now and then. Against Norman, I open with Thermo against his Spinda. I lead with a Vital Throw, leaving it on a Sliver. If I just use Fake Out, Spinda will be down, but no. Luckily, as Spinda is healed, we hit a high roll next turn to take it out. In comes Vigoroth, so I swap into Atomic. He hits a Rock Throw as we get hit by Feint Attack. We swap these moves once more and we're left on 7 HP. I bring in Extra and a Flamethrower takes care of Vigoroth. In comes Linoon and he also catches a Flamethrower. He's also burned, so I want to stall him out. I go for Protect and next turn he's healed to full. I hit another Flamethrower and then another Protect. I then bring in Claw and go for Protect as well. Eventually the burn takes it out and this brings in his last mon, Slacking. I go for a Metal Claw on his Loathing turn and when he gets to attack, I just use Protect. This took quite a while, and eventually I ran out of Protects, but luckily Torkoal also knows Protect. So I let Claw eat one hit and then swap to Extra. One more Flamethrower takes it out, and this wins us our 5th badge. We also received the HM for Surf, so I go to Marvel City and pick up Ring the Voltorb. We then also catch a Tropius, who I named Cup, and we make our way to the Weather Institute. Here we have the simplest of times because of positive, and at the end we receive a Gas Form. But we already caught Tropius on this route, so he won't be used. We then arrive in Fortress City, and a little east we can catch our next encounter. I was hoping for a Meryl, but we got an Absol instead. This might actually be more useful. I named him Doom. After that though, it's time for Winona, and I'm once again pretty scared. All gym leaders from here on out are going to be really tough. I open with Paddles against his Swablu and hit a wing attack. We then hit another and it takes it into the red, as Swablu goes for Perish Song. He's then also healed, and 2 wing attacks later, the Perish Song forces us to switch out. So I bring in Toll, as Winona sends in Tropius. I go for Rock Tomb, but miss, as Tropius charges its Solar Beam. With that in mind, I bring in Extra, who easily tanks it. He then retaliates with a Flamethrower, leaving it on a Sliver. Next one takes it out, and in comes Pelipper. He's probably going to go for Protect, so I bring in Ritual. I was correct, so we get a free switch, and we then just spam Stomp. I also confuse it, and we're eventually left on 9 HP. I bring in Claw, and a Rock Tomb easily takes care of the Pelipper. In comes Skarmory, so I switch into Extra. One Flamethrower kills it, and lastly is Altaria. I swap into Claw, but we're left on 17 HP, forcing another switch. I bring in Paddles, expecting an Earthquake, which is correct. I then realize there isn't much more to do here other than to use Endeavor and sacrifice Paddles. You will be missed, my friend. I then bring in Atomic, who is hit hard by Dragon Breath, but our Rock Slide takes it out, winning us our 6th badge. Oh wait, there's still that weak at Swablu. I bring in Toll, so not to risk Atomic, as Swablu is healed to full. I hit a few Rock Tombs and Swablu went down. Now we did beat Winona, winning us our 6th badge. After Winona, we get some more encounters. First up is Shoppet, who I named Cloak, and in the Safari Zone I catch a Girafarig, who I appropriately named Zebra. Zebra is actually a great addition. Like Minun and Torkoal, he has slightly better stats than the first stage mons. On top of Mount Pyre, I first do some Bloodstuff, but then I catch a Vulpix, who I named Soap. I then also catch a Tentacle named Jelly, and he single-handedly took on the entire Team Aqua hideout. We also took on Maxi, and I leave with Thermo against his Mightyena. I hit a Fake Out, but also notice I'm slightly underleveled. I then go for Vital Throw, but next turn Maxi actually switches into Crobat. I bring in Claw, but he's immediately taken into the low yellow. I bring in Extra next and use Flamethrower. This burns, ensuring a 2-hit KO. But instead I bring in Jelly, and for whatever reason I go right back into Extra. I then swap back into Jelly as the burn damage finally takes it out, and in comes Camerupt, who just goes down to a single Surf. Lastly is Mightyena. I bring in Atomic, but he swaggers us. I then hit myself and decide to swap into Sync. He got hit by a crit takedown though, which actually killed. God damn it, goodbye Sync. Atomic comes back in and is swaggered again, but this time he breaks through, taking out the Mightyena. After the loss of Sync, I go to the Team Aqua hideout and just sweep there no problem. So it's time to go to Monotype City. I first pick up the Super Rod here and then prepare for what might be the hardest battle of this run, the battle against State and Liza. I open the battle with Cloak and Extra. I open Cloak because he baits Psychic moves, so I immediately swap him out for Doom, who is immune. I then use Flamethrower on Xatu as well. This does about half, as Claydol EQs both my mons to about half. I then bite and flinch Claydol and hit a Flamethrower on Xatu, taking it out. In comes Solrock, so I swap Extra for Cup and use another bite on Claydol. Claydol's Earthquake takes out Doom and I bring him Array, but he's immediately hit by a Flamethrower and he goes down as well. There are 2 deaths in 1 turn. I send in Zebra and I use Magical Leaf and Shadow Ball on Claydol. This puts it in the red as Zebra is hit by Solar Beam. Next turn I hit Claydol with Magical Leaf and Solrock with Shadow Ball, but Zebra is once again hit by Solar Beam. A Magical Leaf plus Shadow Ball combo then takes out the Claydol and in comes Lunatone. Cup is hit by a Flamethrower to just under half though. I Shadow Ball the Lunatone and Cup is put to sleep. I switch Cup for Extra and Zebra hits another Shadow Ball on Lunatone. I then swap Extra out and bring in Cloak and Shadow Ball the Lunatone once more. Cloak is sadly taken out by Psychic, so Extra comes back in. Shadow Ball takes care of Lunatone and Flamethrower nearly kills the Solrock. Solrock's Flamethrower nearly takes out Zebra as well, but since Solrock will be healed, another Flamethrower plus Shadow Ball combo takes it out. We got really lucky there, but we won. We did lose half our team though, but luckily these members were pretty expendable. Sad, but we did win our 7th badge. I then make my way to the Shoal Cave where I catch a Sphew. I name him Clap. I then also fish up a Wilmer who I named Longboy, and I also fish up a Staryu who I named Patrick. And lastly I go underwater to pick up a Clamperl. I named him Pearl. It's then time to take on Archie and I open with positive against his Midiana. I immediately swap into Extra, but he got hit by a Swagger. I did it a Flamethrower, but I then swap into Thermo. He has Vital Throw, which takes out the Midiana. Archie brings in Crobat, so I bring in positive. He hits a few sparks, and this eventually takes out the Crobat. Lastly is Sharpedo, and since positive is low on HP, I bring in Cup. One critical hit Magical Leaf takes it out, and that's all the evil team stuff dealt with. We then do some world saving stuff by waking up Rayquaza, who breaks up a fight, and then the world is saved. But we still need to save this run. Never forget to save. After that though, it's time for Juan, our final gym battle. And to be honest, after the Tail and Lysa debacle, I didn't want to take any chances. I lead the battle with Blaze Jr., who makes his glorious return, and I hit the Love Disc for half damage with Mega Drain. Next turn, I swap over to Malt, who gets confused and attracted. Eventually though, he did manage to pull through, hitting a Sleep Powder. With Love Disc asleep, I bring in Cup and set up some growths. I set up 3, but then Love Disc wakes up and attracts me. We hit next turn though, taking it out. In comes Celio, who goes down to Magical Leaf, Kingdra, who goes down to Magical Leaf, and the same goes for Witchcash and Crawdont. Easy sweep, I love it. We can now make our way to Victory Road, where I catch my final encounter, an Aron, who I named Flint. It's then time to take on Wally. He leads Altaria as I bring in Clap. I hit a Blizzard for the Oko, and in comes Roselia. I swap into Cup and a single fly takes it out. In comes Delcaddy and I go for another fly. A crit Magical Leaf then takes it out, and in comes Magneton. I bring in Extra and a Flamethrower takes it out. Last up is Gardevoir and I bring in Zebra. 2 Shadow Balls finish off the Gardevoir, winning us this battle. And with that we only have the Elite Four to go. I did some theory crafting and I eventually came up with a team. To be honest, I didn't want to bring too many single stage mons, so I eventually ditched positive in favor of Ring the Voltorb. We also have Wynaut, Tropius, Jarvik, Seal and Torkoal in the team. Against Sydney, I open with Extra against his Midiana. The White Smoke cancels out the Intimidate and I set up a Curse. I then hit a Body Slam for 75% damage and Flamethrower takes it out next turn. In comes Absol, who also catches a Flamethrower, but he sets up his Sword Stance. Next turn he actually misses his Rock Throw, so another Flamethrower takes it out. In comes Groudon, so I swap into Ring. He's immediately taken into the red, so I swap right back into Cup. One Magical Leaf takes it out and in comes Shiftry. He sets up a double team as I go for Fly. We of course miss, and we're also confused. Knowing Shiftry doesn't have many grass moves, I switch into Clap. Clap hits an Ice Beam for massive damage, but just misses out on the kill. I then go for a Body Slam, which actually paralyzes, and the next Ice Beam takes it out. In comes Cacturn, a grass type that does no grass moves, so I swap into Extra. We're leech seeded and hit by Feint Attack all the way down to 8 HP, but a Flamethrower takes it out. This wins us the Force Elite Four battle. Next up is Phoebe, and I have a fantastic counter, Zebra. His normal type means we're immune to all Phoebe's stab moves. I of course lead with him, and since Dusclops always goes for Protect, I set up a Calm Mind. I then hit a Shadow Ball as he confuses us. Predicting another Protect, I set up another Calm Mind, but we hurt ourselves. Next turn, the same happens, but we finally snap out and setting up another Calm Mind. Dusclops just goes for Shadow Punch, so our next Shadow Ball takes it out. In comes Banette, and the Shadow Ball barely misses the kill. After a potion though, 2 more Shadow Balls take out the Banette. 3 more Shadow Balls then take out the Sableye, and the incoming Banette is OHKO'd by a +3 Psychic. Dusclops does manage to live a +3 Psychic, but his Earthquake does too little, so next turn we take it out. That was another easy sweep. Next up is Glacia, and I'm scared here, so I opt for the same strategy as before, sweep with Zebra. So against the Celio, I start with a Calm Mind. Of course he goes for Heal, and the next turn I set up another. We're hit by the Body Slam, but I equipped the Cherry Berry for that reason. I then set up another, risking a Paralysis, but we stay unpunished and are now at +3. A Psychic then OHKOs Celio, and in comes Glalie. He too goes down to a Psychic, and so does the next Celio. Unsurprisingly, the next Glalie also goes down, but the Walrein actually manages to hang on. He Body Slams us all the way down to 10 HP, but luckily the heal just stopped. Knowing I outspeed, I go for Strength, taking out the Walrein. But as scary as Glacia was, Drake is 10 times scarier. The whole fate of this battle is already dependent on the first 2 moves. Drake opens with a Shelgon and I lead with Clap. Shelgon always goes for Protect first turn, but I need him to go for a second Protect and Fill. Otherwise, Clap will be damaged too much to take on Salamence. To be clear, this is plan B. With some insane luck, I managed to encore the Shogun into using Protect at all times, so plan A can commence. I bring in Zebra and set up 2 Calm Minds before he being hit by a Rock Tomb. I then set up a third, and the next turn, Psychic takes out Shogun. In comes Flygon, who hits a hard Earthquake, but his Psychic takes it out. Salamence then comes in, and I fear the worst. I click Psychic, but he outspeeds us and he kills Zebra with Crunch. Damn, Zebra was a key player for the upcoming champion fight. Anyway, I bring in Clap, and Salamence actually misses his Rock Slide, as we OHKO him with Ice Beam. In comes Altaria, who goes for Dragon Dance, but is also one-shotted with Ice Beam. Last up is Kingdra, so I encore him into using Smoke Screen, and then I swap into Cup. I set up 2 Growth, and since Magical Leaf cannot miss, the Smoke Screens don't really matter. Magical Leaf then brings Kingdra in the red, and after he's healed up, 2 more take it out, winning us the battle. But it came at a tremendous cost. Zebra was going to be key in the next battle. Speaking of the next battle, I open against Wallace with Ring, against the Wailord. I go for a Thunderbolt as Wailord hits a hard Water Spout, taking us into the red. Next Thunderbolt takes it out, and in comes Gyarados. I know that I will just miss out on the kill, and since Gyarados will use Earthquake, I switch into Cup. With Cup in the feud, I actually swap him right back into Extra, and we hit a Body Slam, paralyzing the Gyarados. Next turn, an Earthquake takes out Extra, but that was the plan. I can now safely switch into Ring again, and this time Gyarados will be in the range of the kill. We take it out, and in comes Whiscash. There really isn't much more to do here, so I just click Explosion for maximum damage. It does just over half, and I send in Cup. A Magical Leaf finishes it off, and Melodic comes in. A single Ice Beam then kills Cup, so I bring in Counter. With Counter, I can use Mirror Coat, which is about the only way I can take on the Melodic. He serves us, but we survive and fire it right back at it, taking it out. In comes Tentacruel, and I tried going for Destiny Bond, but he outspeeds us and kills us. This leaves just Clap. And I predicted Toxic, so I tried to encore him into that so he cannot damage us. Sadly, he went for Sludge Bomb instead, and that basically signed our death warrant. Next turn, another Sludge Bomb takes us out. And just like that, we actually lost this challenge. Even though I lost, I still had a very good time. I think that if I strategized a little bit better, I could have gone through Drake deathless, and with Zebra we would have won against Wallace. He was our best counter against Tentacruel, and oh well, I did what I could. Despite the loss, I really hope you enjoyed the video. It's a bit different from the typical Monotype Nuzlocke, but it was still a fun challenge. Please let me know if you want to see more of these unique challenges, and I'll gladly do more of them. With that said, I want to thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.